The Arduino Zero comes with two USB ports. The first one is the programming USB port and the other one is the native USB port. In the lecture so far, we have worked exclusively with the programming USB port. We used it to program the SUMD microcontroller and to get a virtual serial port that we can use with a serial monitor. In this lecture, I will play with the native USB port. I will give you an example of how you can use it to simulate a keyboard with the Arduino Zero. In a similar way, you can use this port to connect USB peripheral devices to your Zero. Things like full USB keyboards and mice are common. You can finally use a proper keyboard with your Arduino instead of flexible keypads. Let's have a look at the keyboard emulation example now. Hi, in this lecture we'll talk about the native USB port that you find on the Arduino Zero. In addition to the programming port, you find the native USB port on other Arduinos as well. We'll just have a quick look at my feature comparison table for the Arduino boards. You'll see that the Zero, the Duo, and the Galileo, all of them have a native USB port. So what can you do with it? Well, you can simulate any USB device that you can connect to your computer. Things like keyboards and mice devices and simulation of those devices are common uses for the native USB port on these boards. If you look at the schematic for the Arduino Zero, and down here in the first page is showing the connections for the native USB port, and you can see that this is connected directly to the SUMD microcontroller. So you talk directly to the SUMD microcontroller by connecting a device to this native USB port. Let's have a look at the sketch. In this demonstration sketch, I start by including the keyboard library, and then I set up a button in pin number 7, and I don't need to include an external pull-up resistor on the breadboard because in line 37 I initialize this button with an input pull-up. So I use the internal pull-up resistor, enable the internal pull-up resistor instead of using an external one. I've got a counter here just to provide of some new text every time that text is sent over to the computer. Then I'm just starting the keyboard and sent a bit of text to get things started. And inside the loop, every time that the button is low, so it means every time that I press the button, it will send text to the computer. And I'm going to capture this text inside a text editor window. Also, I've got a USB cable connected to the programming port. I'm going to use this to send the sketch to the microcontroller. And of course, I've got another USB cable connected to the native USB port. And this is the port that my sketch will use to send text to my computer. All right, let's do the programming first. So let's choose the programming port for this and upload the sketch. All right, it's done. So now the sketch is running on the microcontroller. So I'll go to a text editor that can receive text. Anything would do. You could even have a new Arduino sketch window and you can send text in here. So I might actually do that as well. All right, and press the button. And you can see that the Arduino is sending text to my text editor. So I'll do that in my Sublime text window. And there you go. As long as I press the button, text is being sent. As I said, by using the native USB interface and the keyboard library, you can simulate pretty much any feature available in a regular keyboard, including shift keys and control and option keys, all those can be simulated. And you can do something like that with the mouse library as well. You can simulate movement of mouse and right click and left click, and this